Please note that the views expressed on this program are those of the individuals who speak them, and not necessarily those of Portsmouth Community Radio, its Board of Trustees, members, volunteers, or underwriters. Good evening and welcome to Spirit Radio. I am your host, Willie Hassell. Along with my co-host, Lynn Nickerson, we will take you on a journey into the unknown, where the paranormal becomes the normal. A journey to a world cloaked in darkness, where reality becomes a thin veil. So sit back, relax, and join us as we venture into the shadows, the darkness, the unknown, and back. Okay, good evening and once again, and welcome to Spirit Radio, the paranormal experience. Ghosts, spirits, UFOs, Bigfoot, nothing is off limits here. This is the show where the paranormal becomes the normal. I am your host, Willie Hassell, the gatekeeper to the dark side, your guide to the realm of the unknown, the unseen, the unthinkable. And as always, joining me here in the studio is my co-host, the lovely, the mystical, the mysterious Lynn Nickerson. And she is busy right at the moment connecting with our guest on the line, but she will be right here in just a minute. And so tonight, of course, we are going to be talking to Christine, LeClair and Dan Peer from the Connecticut Paranormal Reseach Team. And they are out at the very haunted Shanley Hotel in Napanoch, New York. And they're going to they're doing an investigation out there overnight. And they're going to take a little time out to come on and talk with us. And actually, they were there last night too, and they've had some good things happening. They had some activity this afternoon, as a matter of fact, right in the middle of the afternoon. I understand they had a chair that was moving on its own. And are we okay?
Yeah, we're ready.
All right. Okay. Okay. So, Lynn, have you ever been to a haunted house?
I'm sorry. Say that again, Willie.
I said, have you ever been to a haunted, not a house, a haunted hotel, I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's a little bit better. I have. I've been to a few of them, but I haven't investigated any.
You haven't investigated any?
No.
Oh, I got a great one for you.
All right.
And it's out in the little town of Napanoch, New York.
I think I've heard of that.
And it's called the Shanley Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And the guests that we have online tonight are out there right now,
that's right.
right at this very moment.
Christine, LeClair and Dan Peer.
From the Connecticut Paranormal Reseach Team. And let's see, hopefully they are on the line right now. Hello, Christine, Dan, are you there?
Hi, Willie. Yes, we are.
Hi, Christine. How are you tonight?
Doing great.
Good. Well, welcome to the show, both of you.
Dan, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Hi, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How you all doing?
Oh, we're doing great. We're doing great. We've been looking forward to this. You're at my...
We've been looking forward to something, too. We have a wonderful group tonight, and we all just wanted to say, well, yeah.
There you go. Hello to everybody at the Shanley.
Hello. From Spirit Radio.
That's on Spirit Radio. That's right. That's my favorite haunted place. I've been out there many times. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get out there too much lately because of finances.
Been busy.
And been busy too. And yeah, I can't go on Saturday nights because I'm here.
So, what are you guys up to exactly?
Well, this is Christine. So we actually, due to the fact we do have a big group of guests tonight, so Dan's actually going to take the first half hour. He's going to take the guests to continue the investigation, and he's going to switch off, and the second half hour, he's going to take over the rest of the radio show, and I'll go around with the guests.
Oh, okay. That works for us.
So we can pump you both for information.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
We actually have already been getting activity from some of the guests that have actually experienced some stuff already. So it'll be interesting to see what else we can get tonight.
Oh, we'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, I saw on your Facebook post this afternoon, in the middle of the afternoon, you had a chair moving on its own.
Yeah, that was quite interesting, right in broad daylight. We've already had some responses up in the bordello tonight, which was pretty active last night. So we'll see what else we can gather tonight.
So did you get EVPs in the bordello? Or was it
we haven't
touching?
had any EVPs tonight. We had a lot of responses with the flashlights, the ovulus, and the dowsing rods.
Great. And who's doing the dowsing rod? Christine, who is manipulating the dowsing rod or handling it?
Dowsing rod? Renee. Renee
Actually from Maryland, right? One of the guests here came up from Maryland.
Oh, great.
And is doing some work with the dowsing rods.
Okay. And what are the rods made of? Are they copper?
Hold on. I'm actually going to put you on speaker so we can actually get Mary on. Hold on.
Okay, great.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, what was your question again?
What are the dowsing rods made of? Are they made of copper?
Not made of copper. They're just basic metal. They're not fancy. But they were.
No, nothing fancy, huh?
Nothing fancy.
Just basic metal.
Are they homemade?
Yes. They are homemade.
Oh, okay. They're not the official Shanley dowsing rod.
Are they coat hangers?
haven't made it into the gift shop yet.
Okay. So where did you get this activity?
Actually, it was in the bordello. Up in the bordello, up in the stairwell.
Uh-huh. And what kind of questions did you ask?
There's a lady here, and it said yes. And then there's a gentleman here, and then the flashlight went off.
Ooh.
All right. Where did this afternoon, the chair, where was that?
It was actually right out on the front porch. The oddest thing was it was there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, well, 5, 6, 5 to 6 of them out there on the front porch, and there
Only one moved?
It was weird because it was like there was no air, like no breeze, no nothing, and only one of the chairs was rocking, and it wasn't a slight little movement. This was rocking like somebody was sitting in the chair rocking a baby type rocking.
Pretty definite
and
movement.
And then as soon as we approached the porch and went to step on the porch, it completely stopped.
Wow. So do you have any idea which one of the resident spirits that might have been?
Probably Mr. Shanley, because he was one to always be sitting around out on the front porch. But we'll never know until we're going to try to do some EVP work tonight. We're actually going to ask that question.
All right.
Yeah. Maybe you can have Dan do it while we're talking to you, and he might even get an answer by the time he comes on.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. Can you give us a little history of the Shanley?
Okay. Let me go right into that for you. All right. Can you hear me better now?
That's great.
Yep, we can hear you fine.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, the Shanley actually was built in 1845, and the hotel at that time was run by the Irish mob.
Oh.
So there's quite a lot of history within the building itself.
And a history of violence, I would think.
Well, between the Irish mob, the Italian mob, I would think so. And it was during the Prohibition days. So you had a lot of the illegal drinking. They had obviously the gambling, and they also had the bordello, which was a working girl for the working girls upstairs. And then the hotel completely burnt to the ground in 1895. it was restored and opened back up for business again in 1896. So you've had, a lot of the memories of the building. There are still some pieces of the original 1845 structure is still here at the facility. And the building that we're in right now is the original structure that was rebuilt in 1896. And then obviously, all the beautiful work that Sal has done to the location since he bought the hotel in 2005.
Mm. Where are you sitting right now, Christine? Just so I can picture it.
Yeah, right now I'm actually sitting all by myself. Dan just took the team out to work to do some more investigating, and I'm in the gentlemen's quarters right now.
Oh, okay.
And of course, back in the day, the women were not allowed in the gentlemen's quarters, so it'll be interesting to see if anything happens to me while I'm in here sitting by myself.
That was kind of like a smoking room, reading room type thing?
Actually, this is where they actually did the gambling. So this was all poker tables. A lot of the gambling took place, and I'm sitting back here playing with a thing of poker chips, actually. That were
nice little trigger object.
Props later, yeah.
Yeah, that's where they did all the gambling and the drinking and smoking the cigars, and right directly upstairs is the bordello that you were talking about. So.
Yes.
And there are approximately 30 rooms, Christine?
If you count all of the rooms, probably upstairs, I think it's 30 or 35 to be exact.
So it kind of looks like a boarding house, doesn't it?
Almost from the outside, which technically back in the day, they actually would rent out the third floor as if it was like a boarding house.
Hmm. Did they use the same footprint though when they rebuilt it, right? So it pretty much looks the same. Okay.
Yeah. The only thing that's different now is there used to be a 2-foot railing that used to go around the outside of the porch, which is no longer there.
Oh.
And then obviously the original Shanley Hotel gas pump is no longer on site anymore either.
Oh yeah,
that sounds like
right,
a good
gas
thing.
Pump, yeah. Well, it's I know that the cell has done a lot of work on the hotel, and it's beautiful now inside.
Yeah, maintaining the integrity of the period too. It's not like it's new work.
Right,
yeah,
right.
It still looks.
Yeah, it's got that very the Victorian style.
Look. Yeah.
And speaking of Sal, did you tell him that at some point during the night we'd like to talk to him for a couple minutes?
I don't know if I did it now that I'm thinking of it, but we can certainly make sure we can grab him and get him to come on. I'm sure he's actually listening right now. So.
Good.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, I want to talk to my good friend Sal.
Okay. He does have some very great events coming up as well that are on the Shanley Hotel website on the events page. I know most of you know of the show The Haunted Collector.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yep, Ryan Cano and from The Haunted Collector, along with Karen Tatro, is going to be here at the Shanley Hotel on May 17th. So that's definitely going to be a great event. Sal also has recently started Ladies' Night. We had a group of ladies here last night, and May 23rd, there's another Ladies' Night taking place. On June 21st, he's got an evening of psychic theater with Sebastian Black.
And what is psychic theater?
I'm not really sure. I believe it's just a bunch of different psychic readings and stuff that he's going to do. I haven't pulled it back up on the site. I'm actually on the radio's website right now. But all the details are actually listed on the events page of the Shanley Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And that is theshanleyhotel.com, correct?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
And then just click on the link for events. And on, he's got some other events that are going to be posted up on the hotel as well, because he's going to do something special here on 4th of July weekend. We also have July 18th and 19th. He's got the author, empath medium Geraldine Palmer South is going to be here as well. So she's got some cool things. And they're doing, if you can't stay the night at the hotel, you can certainly come and just do an investigation till like midnight. On Wednesdays during the week, anyone who comes to investigate. All those proceeds are actually going to the St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So Sal has actually started to do that here at the hotel.
Oh, that's nice.
Along with all the bottled water that people buy, he donates the money from that to the St. Jude's Children's Hospital as well. So there's some really great things going on at the Shanley Hotel.
And for a good cause, too.
Definitely for a good cause.
Yeah. Okay, let's get down to some brass tacks here about the some of the resident spirits at the hotel. We know that one of the spirits is little Jonathan up there on the third floor.
Yep.
And could you give us the story about the train up in Jonathan's room?
Yes.
Well, first maybe, I don't know, explain who Jonathan was and you know, how the room is set up there.
Yeah. Well, Jonathan actually he was one of the residents that stayed here up on the third. His room was up on the third floor. And the doctor used to have a house right next door to the Shanley Hotel prior to the fire, which is what burnt the hotel down. And he was, according to the newspaper articles that we have on the events that happened with Jonathan, he was playing on the bumper of the doctor's Studebaker. And as the doctor was backing out of the driveway, he didn't realize that the little boy was on the fenders of the car, and he fell off, and the doctor's vehicle actually ran him over. And back then they didn't have hospitals, so the doctor treated him here at the hotel, figuring he was okay. But apparently he has, at some point, actually passed on. But his spirit is still here at the hotel, and he was 7 years old.
His spirit is still there and very active.
Very active. We have guests that will actually bring him toys and put them in his room for him to play. So every time he gets a new toy, that's one of his favorite objects that is played with upstairs.
Oh, he likes the new ones. Oh, okay, I didn't realize that. Next time I come, I'll have to bring him a new one.
Yeah, he seems to have a tendency where he'll just all of a sudden take a liking to that new toy.
And anyways, I know he has a train set up there, and up on the third floor there is no electricity to run the train set. But what happened?
Well, we had about 20 people, and this was during the daytime, and I was going through doing the tour of the history of the hotel. And we got upstairs on the third floor, and in one of the rooms, we weren't even near Jonathan's room, we heard a train going off. We actually heard that, the whistle. So we all kind of looked at each other, and we kind of figured, well, maybe it was a child or somebody outside, because there is an apartment building across the street, and we figured maybe somebody was playing outside with a train. So we actually had a guest run downstairs and go outside, and there was people sitting out there on the porch and asked if anybody out there heard a train. And everyone out there said, no, they didn't hear anything. So we went back upstairs, and we were continuing the tour, and we got to Jonathan's room. And I was explaining who Jonathan was, and there was his train set there. And I actually asked the question. I said, Jonathan, I said, if that was you that we heard playing with the train when we were in the other room, can you turn the train on again for me? Now, this train had been there for 6 months. I didn't even know this thing did anything because I've never heard it do anything. I've never seen it. It's all little magnets, and all the cars connect together, and you push it around the track. So I thought. Well, all of a sudden, lo and behold, the train started up, and it drove around the track. And all the people that were with me were their mouths just dropped.
I can imagine.
Because they couldn't believe it. And I mean, it went halfway around, and it stopped, and all of a sudden you heard this little conductor guy talking about everybody to board the train.
You're kidding.
I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Oh, I hadn't heard that part before.
Was there a voice programmed into the toy? Did it have some sort of...
No, because I have yet to get it to do it again. I've never heard this thing in the 6 to 8 months that it was here. It was actually It was donated by Norma Forenza. I probably didn't say her name right. She lives in Pennsylvania, and she actually donated this train set, this magnetic train set, to the hotel. And it's been set up forever, and we've never heard this thing do anything. There's no batteries. There's nothing in this thing.
Well, maybe it was Jonathan was the one that was
well, that's
that
what
was
we
talking.
figured. So, and when the train actually stopped, I'm like, oh my God, Jonathan. I'm like, if that was really you, I said, can you turn on my flashlight for me? Because I had the light, so that way I knew it was you. My flashlight turned on in my hand, and then all of a sudden, on the engine of the train, there's a little headlight. And that headlight turned on, and the train drove so that the headlight was shining on it.
Now, you're serious, right?
I couldn't believe it. And, of course...
And there is no power up there on that floor at all.
No power. And there were 20-something people, and not one person had had an actual camera or anything to videotape what we just experienced.
That's
well,
amazing.
Of course not.
No, but and it's been 2 years now, and I have not been able to get that thing to turn on or do anything ever since.
That's amazing. I know there's also been some videos up there. Actually, I have one myself of some of the balls moving around.
Yes.
Jonathan's, like you said, everybody brings him new toys. He's got several balls up there, and occasionally somebody will catch him pushing one around on camera.
We've even had, he used to have one of those metal Tonka trucks, and we actually have seen and witnessed that his Tonka truck go across the room all by itself with nobody in the room. Just you're in one of the rooms down the hall, and you can hear the wheels going across the floorboards.
That's pretty good evidence.
And the truck is moved to the completely different spot of of his room.
Yeah, that is pretty good evidence. And Jonathan shares a doorway to the next room with Joe. And why don't you tell us who Joe was?
Joe actually, from what we've been told, was a hired hitman that used to stay here at the hotel. And his original chair from when he used to stay here is actually still in his room. And apparently he's very attached to this chair, and he really doesn't like it if people just go in there and, I guess, just sit in his chair. And I'm imagining from the EVPs that we've gotten from him that he was probably a heavy smoker because he has that very raspy voice. And it's a very deep, raspy sound. And every person that's gotten EVPs, we always know that it's the same spirit because the voice is always the same. Even whether the words are different, it's always that same tone from his voice, very raspy.
And he's kind of nasty too, isn't he?
He can,
his EVPs.
He kind of reminds me of like a grumpy old man type thing, and I always tell people he's harmless. Just if he doesn't like you sitting in his chair, he's going to call you some bad name. But for the most part, that's all he will do.
Do you have some of those EVPs, Christine?
Yeah, but they're probably not something you want to air over the air.
No, but I mean,
okay.
you've captured his voice, and it's clearly him.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It is always when they are from him, you can tell because they always have that same tone in the voice.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Jonathan, you can tell it's a little kid's voice when you actually hear them.
Yeah. I've actually every time I go out there, I always sit in Joe's chair, and I try to get him
just to annoy him,
just to annoy
Provoke him,
exactly. Yeah. And I try to get him to come over and give me a shove or something, but he won't do it. I don't know why.
I will tell you, one of the most popular videos that has been a huge hit here at the Shanley Hotel is the apparition of Little Sweet Thing, Sal's cat.
I was going to ask you about that. Yes.
Oh my! Every guest that comes here, I just literally would make sure. I mean, we had one guest last night. She played that video probably 10 times over and over and over again because she could not believe what she was actually watching. So Yeah, anybody that if you're listening to this show and go into YouTube and just type in Shanley Hotel ghost cat, it is the best footage of an apparition of an actual animal. I mean, I've seen still photos of animals that have passed on, but this is an actual moving apparition, clearly a cat with no body. You can just see its cute little butt and its little tail walking out of Jonathan's room and going into Claire's room. And Claire is one of the spirits here that actually is a documented. She hung herself at the hotel. She used to rent a room upstairs. And Sal has EVPs of her physically saying when the cat was alive that the cat belonged to her.
Oh.
And the cat would never come downstairs. So Sal used to actually put a dish of food. He had to bring it all the way upstairs on the third floor because the cat would never come down into the hotel. He had to feed her upstairs. And then when she passed away, she still stays upstairs. And this was I believe it was a TV news crew that was a big skeptic that physically caught this piece of evidence. And
I was going to ask.
It's changed his outlook, and you have to watch it. It is amazing.
Oh, I have seen the video. Yes, it is excellent. It's definitely, there's no doubt about it. It's a cat with its little tail sticking up in the air, and I understand that actually that news crew they had that camera there for like about a full week before they finally got that video.
And they've actually been back here since because like I said, they were very skeptical until they actually caught that piece of evidence, and it totally changed their outlook about the fact of what's out there once people pass on. Do we still linger around and go to your favorite hotel for a weekend getaway? I know when I go, this is where I'm coming. I am definitely coming back to the Shanley Hotel.
Definitely coming back. How long have you been going there now, Christine?
Well, religiously, I was actually here for almost every single weekend. I was coming up for close to 2 years, volunteering on the weekends. And I had, people on my team. I could rely on them to take care of the caseload for the cases that we had at home, so that I can continue to help out, keeping this hotel alive and just sharing my passion, for the paranormal with people that wanted to have that experience and teaching them, different investigation techniques and hoping and just to see the look on their faces when they had their first experience. I mean, to me, the Shanley Hotel is a paranormal Disneyland.
Yeah, it's crawling with spirits.
I mean, you've got residual hauntings here. You have intelligent hauntings here. And you feel like you're at home. I mean, you walk in the place, and it feels like home.
I have to agree with that. We're at the bottom of the hour, actually, Christine, so we're going to have to take a little break here. And that's what I've always said about the Shanley. You check in as a guest, and you leave as family. And it feels like going home. So we're going to take a short break here, and maybe you could get Sal to come down, and after the break, he will come on and talk to us for a minute, and we'll talk to Dan, and we will be back in just a couple minutes.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, you are listening to Spirit Radio, the Paranormal Experience on WSCALP 106.1 FM in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And from the community calendar, the Basic Needs Committee of the Portsmouth Rotary Club is seeking applications for funding assistance from local nonprofits. The committee makes donations to local 501(c)(3) nonprofits each year to help cover people's basic needs, such as food, shelter, health, and clothing. This year, the committee has a surplus of funds to distribute and is looking for more applications. Application for funds may be made throughout the year by visiting portsmouthrotary.org and clicking on Basic Needs Committee. For questions or help with the application, email Basic Needs Committee Chairman Bob Lewis at bob.lewis46@comcast.net. And Lynn, I believe you have some upcoming guests to the Spirit Radio world.
Spirit Radio guest list. Saturday, May 10th, we're welcoming Jeremy D'Entremont, who is the author of many books on haunted lighthouses of the New England coast, and he'll be stopping by with some of these great ghost stories. Saturday the 17th, we're happy to welcome back to the show Steve Parsons from the UK. Steve is co-founder of Parascience and a former cast member of the TV show Most Haunted. Saturday, May 24th, making his third appearance on the show is pleasure to welcome our good friend, parapsychologist Cal Cooper. He'll be broadcasting from the University of Northampton in England, and Cal is the author of Telephone Calls from the Dead and Conversations with Ghosts. Saturday, May 31st, Linda Godfrey will be on Skype. She's an author-investigator of strange creatures, and she'll be joining us. And we'll be discussing anything from wolfmen, werewolves, dogmen, and upright canids. And the stories of these are so bizarre that many defy explanation. So are these creatures associated with UFOs, or are they interdimensional? We're going to have a provocative discussion about this. So please join us. And one more, on June 7th, we're happy to present Caroline Bodnovich-Genovese from Sedona, Arizona. And Caroline is a psychic intuitive who's been a practicing Wiccan for many years, and she's going to be talking about earth energies and some of her psychic experiences and what it means to be Wiccan. And that about wraps it up for now. Willie?
Okay, so we're going to go back now to the very haunted Shanley Hotel in Napanoch, New York. And let's see who we have on the line now.
Who do we have
Christine,
on the line?
Or Dan?
We have
Sal?
Dan, and we also have Sal.
Terrific.
All right. Sal.
Welcome, Dan and Sal.
Sal, are you there, Sal?
I'm here. How's everything tonight?
Oh, good, Sal. Good.
Terrific.
Good.
It's an honor to be on your show.
Oh, glad to have you.
Well, you know, if you remember back when we first started this show, our very first episode, I said the first guest I want to have on is Sal Nicosia from the Shanley Hotel. And this tonight is show number 30, and we are still here.
Woo!
Ooh, thank you.
Thank you, Sal. So how are you doing, Sal?
Doing good. Keeping busy, you know. A lot of activity in the hotel, a lot of great guests, and just staying busy.
Oh.
It's been a rough winter, a cold winter.
Oh, it's been a rough winter all around.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It's been terrible.
Has the snow melted out there yet?
Yeah, that's all gone.
Oh, good. Sal, that cat that was captured on film, was that your cat? Is that the cat you lost?
Yes, I had the cat for 13 years.
Oh.
And I had a group here from, I think, Kentucky, and they had set up all their cameras up on the third floor. That night, I went up to feed the cat, and the cat looked sickly.
Oh.
And I brought her down to my apartment, and she wound up dying at 8 o'clock at night.
Oh, that's
Later
sad.
on that night, around 10 o'clock, all their cameras shut off.
Oh.
And about 11 o'clock, the motion detector camera that they had up there took two snapshots. One, you see the door that the cat was in, where the room that the cat was in. And the second snapshot looks like the cat up against the door, trying to get into that room.
The same night the cat died.
The cat had died at 8 o'clock that night.
Oh, my gosh, that is freaky.
And customers tell me all the time they feel the cat, they see the cat, they hear the cat. And the night that Steve got that on video, Steve worked for the Daily News, and he was doing a documentary here. And sometime he says to me, "Let me interview me." So I said, "Okay." So we sat down and we started talking, and I brought up the thing about the cat. And Steve was really a diehard skeptic. And he was looking at me like I had two heads when I was telling him about the incident with the cat. And about a week and a half later, about 12:30 at night, he calls me up. He says, "Sal, you'll never believe what I have." And I says, "What?" He says, "I'm sending it over to you now." And he sent it over to me, and it was he caught on video the cat walking in from one room into another room. And it was fantastic. That got over 1 million hits last year on YouTube.
Over 1 million hits?
Wow, that's a lot, yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
It is an impressive video.
It was amazing, and there's a long story behind that cat. When I first brought her into the building, she wouldn't come into my apartment. I would have to feed her out in the hallway, and then after a while, she went up to the 3rd floor, and I go up there to feed her, and then she went into Claire's room, and we got an EVP one night from Claire, who was a spirit up on the 3rd floor, saying that it was her cat, and that's where the cat stood all the time, was up on the 3rd floor. Very rarely did the cat ever come off the 3rd floor.
Well, they're probably together now.
Yes.
Yeah, apparently they are, yeah. So I guess maybe it is her cat now.
An interesting story.
Well, it's amazing. The spirits in a hotel are very friendly. They interact with most people. As long as you come in with a positive attitude, and an open mind, they will interact with you. And I don't investigate anymore. I just enjoy watching everybody's reaction when they get something,
Sal, do you find that the activity is highest when there's a full moon?
Yes. Especially this past month when we had the red moon. This place was jumping.
Really?
I mean, it was more activity. It was unbelievable.
Goodness, and every room upstairs is haunted, is that right? There's activity?
Yes.
Actually, every room in the hotel, isn't there?
Right. And even, especially Marguerite's room, and Willie, you could verify that with the mirror.
Yes, we had a very interesting mirror experience in there one night.
It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it, watching the expression on people's faces when they experience something. We have a lot of new people that are into it, and when they get touched or they pick up EVPs, just the expressions on their faces,
Yeah. Sal, you live there, right? You've got an apartment or a section that you live in?
Yes.
Are you bothered at all?
They stay out. I have no problem in the apartment, and when I first moved in there, I did. But then I just told them, I said, "Look, if you have the rest of the hotel, this is my private area. Please respect it. And you're the owners of the hotel. I'm just a caretaker." And everything seems quiet. They put me down after that.
That's great. That's the way it's supposed to work. But it's interesting that it does work.
Yeah.
We coexist with each other.
So you're living peaceably, sharing space.
Right.
That's amazing.
We hear things during the day. Doors open, close, your name being called out. But after a while, you get used to it. When it's not bad.
I know you always refer to them as the good old boys and the good old girls.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're nervous, they like to play with your head.
So, go ahead, Sal.
They like to have a good time.
Yeah, they're still partying, aren't they?
You're right.
Dan, have you picked up anything earlier in the evening yet?
Nothing so far. I brought the guests that have never been to this location before upstairs, and I gave them a quick gist of the location and the little, let's just say the little hot spots we're used to, and I gave them a few pointers of, asking for EVP, asking for questions. And just little tidbits here and there that could possibly help them out with receiving responses.
So you're just giving them instruction tonight?
Yeah, so much. We're going to be doing an even more active investigation shortly after the show.
Okay.
Is Sal still there right now? Or?
Yes, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Well, I want to thank you very much, Sal, for coming on, and I am going to get out there hopefully before too much longer.
I know we miss you, Willie.
Hey, I miss you guys too. You know, it's just like coming home. It's my second home. And incidentally, Jim and Laura both said to say hi to you.
Sal, I had one more question for you. Since you started living there, did you ever feel really uneasy about what was going on? Were you ever frightened?
No, not really. I was startled once when I went up on the third floor to feed the cat in Claire's room. It was the first time I seen a full body apparition. I seen.
Oh, you did?
Into another room, into the room that was her room. I seen her going back. You know, that startled me. But as far as being frightened,
no.
I walk around the building with. I don't know about turning the lights on most of the times.
Well, could you briefly explain what she looked like as a full body apparition? Was she solid, clothed?
She was solid. She had to be about 5'4". She had a bun on the back of her head.
Really?
How they used to put their hair.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a flower dress on, a white flower dress. And I just seen her very shortly. As I turned the corner, I seen her come out of what I call the paint room. We used to start painting that room.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out of that room, going into her room.
Did she seem to be caught in a time warp, or did she make eye contact with you?
No, she didn't make eye contact. She just walked straight across.
All the same, it's got to be unnerving. Interesting, but a little bit unnerving.
But like I say, it startled me. But,
yeah.
I was really frightened.
So did you sleep with the lights on that night?
No.
No?
I have a lot of guests that sleep with the lights.
Yeah, I bet you do.
And you have some that run out in the middle of the night, don't you?
Yes. We had a couple of them do that already.
Jeez.
Well, after having been there many times, I can say that there is nothing there to be afraid of.
No, there isn't.
There's, I mean, it's funny, even though there have been, the mob, and there've been, murders and suicides and stuff like that. The hotel feels good. It's definitely not a dark place at all.
So it's a welcoming atmosphere.
It always was a happy place.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a hotel. There was murders and suicides, and people dying of natural causes,
Mm-hmm.
But it was a place to come and party and have a good time. And that's the way the Shanleys had it, and Al Hazen, and every owner after that.
Neat place to live.
Yeah, really. I'm trying to get Lynn to come out with me sometime.
I don't know, maybe.
She's a little bit nervous about it, I think.
There's nothing to be nervous about.
So, Dan, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Real quickly, I had a couple of questions about the movie Exeter, when it's coming out, and what part you guys played in it, and how you got in contact with those people.
Well, the movie Exeter right now has been placed. It's on production hold.
Oh.
So there's, I believe there's a few conflicts with the scheduling and the production, I guess, costs involved. But we got hooked up with them through another team that needed that contacted us within a very short time frame because the movie needed props from a National Paranormal team. So they contacted us, and we were able to play, believe it or not, mental patients.
Oh, no. That's what happens when Hollywood comes knocking on your door.
I can picture it.
Well, what happened was we were just there originally just to hand over some equipment and everything, let them do what they got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And let them do what they got to do and, have a great time and watch them film. And then they realized that one of the scenes outside really was I guess, dull and boring, just the way of just having having no extras. So we got thrown Johnnies, and they said, can you act? And I stayed in character all day long. It was a great time.
Oh, sounds like fun. So, do you have a release date on that yet?
There's no release date as of right now for it. They do have the promotion trailer right now on YouTube.
Oh, all right. And
Yeah,
is that... Go ahead.
If you go on YouTube and you type in Exeter, the movie, like Exeter, I want to believe it's Rhode Island.
Is it? Okay. I didn't know if it was Exeter, New Hampshire or Exeter, Rhode Island.
Yeah, it's spelled exactly the same way as Exeter, Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well,
Great.
your role with the team, Dan, is senior tech guy. You're the one that plays with all the gadgets, right?
Yes, I am.
And I know I always call you the mad scientist when I see your posts on Facebook.
Well, that's because I'm either soldering something or cleaning up the explosion.
Cleaning up the explosion. Well, I hope you don't have too many of them.
No, not many, but I have burnt the table and sorted out a few of my prototypes, but it's all in the name of science, I guess, quote unquote.
All in the name of science. All in good fun.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, all in good fun. So anyway, something I noticed on your website that I want to ask you about. Maybe you can't say anything yet, but I'm going to ask you anyways.
Okay.
Last June, Spirit Chasers Paranormal, along with Connecticut Paranormal Research and Virginia Paranormal, did a investigation out at the Moundsville Prison in West Virginia. And your website says you're going again?
I cannot confirm or deny. We are in talks right now with another team that saw our broadcast that you guys invited us out to, and we may be going back a second time. Whether it be sooner or later, I'm really not sure. We got to sit down and work out the details.
Are you going to film this one too?
We're really not sure. I know the first time when we went there with you guys, we were filming it. We were having a great time. Whether it's going to be a pre-record again, an actual broadcast, or just a standard, good time with friends investigation, I'm just not sure at that point in time. Any which way, it's going to be a great time for all.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
when you figure it out, don't forget to invite me.
I'll see what I can do, Willie.
Okay.
Okay.
I forgot what I was going to say now.
Well, let me ask a quick question. On your website as well, Dan, you had a picture, a really incredible picture of a horse in a barn, like jumping out of the stall, a ghost horse. That was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Where was that taken?
That was taken, quote unquote, before my time with the team. But that was taken, I believe, by a former team member, and that was located in, I believe, let's see. That was taken, I believe, in Massachusetts at a horse barn that had caught on fire that they were doing restorations on. And multiple of the horses actually passed away in that fire.
Oh.
And while they were trying to restore it, they were having a hard time keeping contracts working.
Because they got spooked, right?
Yeah, they would get spooked. They would have everything from the sound of the hoofs on the floor to actual horse breathing to the actual sounds. Just in general, just spooking them out.
Boy, that's amazing.
I believe the team went there a few times, and out of the few times they caught that predominant photo.
Oh, that is an incredible photo. I haven't seen the cat photo yet, which I'm sure is equally as astonishing. But
you got to see that one.
Yeah, that and the horse photo are just amazing on the website.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, you know what, Dan? We're just about
just
out of time. I mean, we just got started. It seems like we sent you away to go and investigate, and then by the time we got you back, we were almost out of time.
Well, you know what? I'm sure that Christine touched on all the points she had to, and everything like that. And like we know, she's been here from the beginning of this team. So,
a lot of good information.
Yeah. And,
yeah, exactly.
And that's where I met you too. And I got to say, Dan and Christine, good people, very good friends.
Oh, thank you, Willie.
And along with Sal Sal is just a wonderful, wonderful person. And I'm proud to know all three of you.
Oh, thank you.
And I know two of you anyway.
You
Go
two
ahead, Dan.
definitely have to come down to the hotel and meet us here one night.
Have to do that.
Yeah, I'll work on it.
Dan, do you want to give us your website before we go off?
Yes, absolutely. My name's Daniel Peer, and Christine LeClair is the director of the Connecticut Paranormal Research Team. Our website is www.connecticutparanormal.com, and we also run a broadcasting service called C.P.R.T. Live, and we're willing to work with any paranormal group that would like to get their names out there and have access to locations or are doing events at locations that would like to have that service available for their guests and their team.
Great. And Sal, your website again?
Oh, Sal actually stepped out. Sal's
okay.
website is www.shanleyhotel.com.
Great. All right. Thank you both, Dan, Christine, and Sal.
Thank you, Dan, very much. If Christine is there, thank you. If not, be sure and tell her thank you. And we thank our good friend Sal Nicosia. And that is it for this week. We are out of time.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And we will talk to you once again next week on Spirit Radio, the Paranormal Experience.
And thanks for listening.